Welcome to another Team Malachowski video. What are we doing now, Kayla? What's all this?
What are we doing now, Michael? What kind of shenanigans have we gotten ourselves into?
This is an Ecobox that we bought a few months ago, and I was going to wait until the winter to put it in because we have a lot of four-wheeling that we were planning to do here. We're supposed to go to Moab this week.
Yeah, for the TJ Fest.
We've been having a lot of blow-by and a lot of problems with this engine lately, ever since we put a new oil pump in it about 6 months ago. And when we put the oil pump in it, it wasn't working when we first started the engine. And even though the engine ran for less than a minute, there was no oil pressure. And that was enough to ruin this engine. It put scoring on the pistons. You can't really see. I took a picture that will show in this video that you can really see it good, but for some reason in the video you can't really tell, but you can see the impressions left by the piston rings. So anyway, this engine is no good. It's got a lot of blow-by, and I had put a catch can in it to try to, it was basically a band-aid on a gaping wound. It didn't. So the last time we went out, we drove about 25 miles. That's a day of wheeling off-road, and it went through 1.5 quarts of oil. So after that, I took the head off, and that's when I found all this scoring. We were hoping maybe it was just a bad head, maybe some bad valve guides, but the engine's no good. So anyways, because the engine's no good and we have to put a new engine in it, we're going to go ahead and do the Ecobox. So the plan is, since this is a 4-cylinder and there's about 16 inches of room between the front of the engine and the fan, we're going to move this engine forward 8 inches to make room for the Ecobox between the transmission and the transfer case. So we got to move the motor mounts up to about this area here. Somehow we've got a lot of figuring out to do how this is going to work.
Yeah.
When I did her suspension, I was mindful of the engine being moved forward, so there shouldn't be any steering or suspension in the way.
Yeah.
So
most people, when they install these Ecoboxes, they leave the engine where it is and they just move everything else back. So that'd mean new drive shafts and everything. But Mike met this guy in California back when he lived out there, and he had put a doubler in.
Clune V back then. It was a Clune V.
It was a Clune V, and that's where he got the idea, and I think that's such a cool idea. We can keep the drive shafts the same. We can keep the transfer case exactly where it is. The only thing that's going to change is the engine's going to move forward.
And the transmission with it.
And the transmission's going to move forward. So it's going to be perfect. With a 6-cylinder, you can't really do that, but with these little 4-bangers, you got a little bit of wiggle room.
Yeah, and it should work out pretty good. We do need to change the input of her transfer case to a 23 spline, which is what the Ecobox comes with, a 23 spline output.
Yeah.
Yeah, 23 spline output, which is what the 6-cylinders have. Our AX5 transmissions have a 21 spline output. So we just changed the input shaft on the transfer case, and then we'll change the output shaft. Well, whatever. I had it all figured out. I don't know right now.
But we know what
we're doing, kind of. So anyways, we have to put the Ecobox together. This is a 2.7 to 1 planetary, and then her transfer case is a 4 to 1. So it'll
be like 10.8 to 1 or something.
Crawl ratio. Yeah, it's going to be really great to have this in there. So we got a lot of work to do. Stay tuned. We're going to keep updating. This is going to be our installing an Ecobox in a 4-cylinder Jeep. So we'll see how it goes. Stay tuned.